Well, good morning, everybody. Good morning, all of you incredible diamond beauties of light. And welcome to another episode of the Buddhist Biohacker. I am your host, Lisa M. Gunshore, and your guide in this mystical journey that we call life. And it has been a journey this year for sure. And I'm very happy first off, I'm very excited about this topic today because I am just dying to learn more about the endocrine system. So I'm really excited, but I'm also very happy and blessed to have with us Sue Hunt. And she is a guest and has been before and is again and will be later. And welcome back, Sue. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you. Mm-hmm.
I am just so excited, and I'm going to hand it over to Sue. And for everybody who's joining in on the live, you are welcome to write in the live chat box. If you have questions or comments, I'll be able to filter those in for you to Sue while she's presenting. And if you're watching the replay later or you're listening on iTunes or Spotify, we have a new forum, and it's so great. And it's on MeWe, so MeWe.com. And you go to Buddhist Biohacker Forum, and it is a public forum where we can all talk about all of these podcasts with questions and comments, and all of our facilitators and guests will be on there periodically sharing their wise words as well. So just a reminder to everybody. So I'm going to hand it off to you, Sue.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you, Lisa. So hello, everyone, and good morning, good afternoon, whatever time it is in your time zone. So would you like to improve your energy levels, strengthen your immunity, balance your metabolism, appetite, and weight levels, get a good night's sleep, just simply by taking good care of your endocrine system? The pineal and the pituitary and the hypothalamus glands in the brain provide hormones that help balance our emotions, bring mental clarity, create more feelings of contentment and connection and bonding with others, as well as have a huge role in our intuitive awareness and spiritual connection. So when we think about our physical and emotional and spiritual health, we don't always think about the endocrine glands in the brain, but the endocrine system in the body plays a huge role in managing these functions. So today we're going to talk about the function of the three endocrine glands in the brain and what we can do to support them through our endocrine health through some lifestyle changes. So my name is Reverend Suzanne Hunt, and as Lisa said, many people call me Sue. And I opened up my intuitive space about 15 years ago when I learned to meditate. And what I realized at that time is that many of my life's challenges were because I was a true empath and I wasn't managing my space very well, my energetic space. So I wasn't making very good decisions for myself. And when I learned to manage my energy better through meditation, I realized that I could turn my life around, but I could also access my empathic awareness to open up my intuitive gifts. And so then I spent about 10 years studying at 3 Clairvoyant schools here in Colorado to learn and put together a suite of healing techniques that I use with my clients and myself. And so it is from that course of study in energy healing and medical intuition that I draw from for this presentation, as well as I did some research on the web to get some pictures and some things and some facts. And I am a certified aromatherapist, but I'm not a doctor. So I want to urge any of you that if you listen to the presentation today and questions or concerns about your own health come up, I encourage you to please see your doctor, your medical doctor, and talk to him or her about your concerns, because the presentation today is really coming from an energetic and a wellness perspective. And And so that is our focus today. And I do have all of my references cited at the end. And so you're welcome to use those for your own discovery. And so with that, we'll go ahead and get started. And I prepared a slide deck that I'm going to be walking through today. And so let me go ahead and get that up. Oh, let me get to the beginning. Here we are. Okay. So here is just the presentation slide. So here is a picture of the three glands and where they are in the brain, the pituitary, the hypothalamus, and the pineal. As you can see, the hypothalamus and the pituitary are center of the brain, but a little bit forward. And the pineal gland is also in the center of the brain, but a little bit into the back. So just bringing up a picture of where those glands are in the brain, and we're going to look at these things a little more deeply in a few minutes. I'm going to stop and put this on slideshow. There we are. So here is a picture where you can see the glands that are connected to the communication between the pituitary. We've got the three glands in the brain that we mentioned: pineal, hypothalamus, and pituitary. And the pituitary is sometimes called the master gland in the body because it controls and manages all of these endocrine systems. But sometimes the hypothalamus is considered the master gland because it works in tandem with the pituitary in order to manage the information going through the nervous system. So information and messages from our brain and these three glands is being sent down into the thyroid gland and down into our adrenals and down into the testes or the ovaries, as well as the pancreas. So the thyroid up in the throat area has hormones that regulate our metabolism, how our body breaks down food and converts it to energy. The adrenals here, sitting on top of the kidneys, regulate also our metabolism, our blood pressure, our ability to respond to stress. And it also has some sex hormones that it generates, a little bit of sex hormones. And so then the pancreas, the yellow gland here in the middle of the stomach, supports our digestion. It secretes blood glucose or insulin to manage our blood glucose and also our salts. And so it helps support our digestion. And then, of course, the testes or the ovaries in the lower section of the body produce sex hormones. So this is how the endocrine system is laid out in our body. Now, the pituitary gland, the master gland, sometimes as we think of it, is really associated with our feminine energy. And so, as you may be aware, we all have both feminine and masculine energy in our body, and our bodies manufacture exactly what we need for just the right balance in those hormones. Feminine energy creates compassion, understanding. When we think of feminine energy, we think of assertiveness rather than aggressiveness, spontaneity rather than activities that are goal-oriented, kindness, gentleness, appreciation, and harmony. Many of you may be aware that our feminine energy is what really brings the cooperation and the collaboration in our relationships. So it's a very important energy to run. And the pituitary gland actually helps support that feminine energy. And we're going to talk about how in a little bit. Feminine energy is supported when we open up our ability to receive, when we receive the gifts of the universe, the things that we want to achieve or accomplish in life, when we just allow those gifts to come to us, the things that we want to create, when we allow others to give to us, when we're in a receiving mode, and of course, when we give to ourselves through self-care. All of these activities help to accentuate and enhance our ability to receive that supports our feminine energy. Feminine energy also opens us up to divine mystery, our ability to let something be undefined and fluid. When we can allow a space to be empty while the universe coalesces, while we allow our creative juices, our creative energy to bring in and create from that space, it leaves room for curiosity and surprise as opposed to energy that is more static or fixed. So our pituitary gland, interestingly enough, helps, and that feminine energy that we associate with it, helps build and maintain our connection with others. One hormone that is secreted by the pituitary is the oxytocin. And oxytocin creates a sense of bonding between people and their children or their pets. So this is an emotional bonding rather than one shared over ideas. Oxytocin is the hormone that sometimes causes us to feel drawn to certain people. It is said that the energy that creates that instant connection with certain people is really generated by this oxytocin. And it's also the hormone that is created when we get that bonding feeling during sex. So another hormone that is generated by the pituitary is vasopressin. And the vasopressin helps also generate our pure bonding. It helps to improve our memory and support our social behavior. So the pituitary generates what we call happy hormones that help to impact our mood. And you can see by the picture here, I thought was pretty cute. We've got dopamine, the reward hormone, oxytocin, the love hormone, that connection with other people, endorphins that help calm and relax the body, and then serotonin, an interesting one that helps give us the willpower to move forward on our goals. So all of these hormones are generated by a well-functioning pituitary. And when we feel better, the world looks better. So next I want to talk a little bit about the hypothalamus. So the hypothalamus helps maintain our body's internal balance, that homeostasis, and things like monitoring our heart rate, blood pressure, body temperature, our fluids, electrolyte balance, and thirst. It has a role in our appetite and balancing our appetite and our weight. And it controls our glands and secretions in the stomach through the pancreas and also the intestines. The hypothalamus helps regulate our emotional responses, manages our sexual behavior, and also has a role in our sleep cycles. The interesting thing about the hypothalamus that I really enjoyed discovering when I did a little bit of research was that the hypothalamus really is the link between our body and mind. It is the link between our endocrine system and the nervous system. The hypothalamus receives input from our nervous system about how we're feeling or what kind of environmental experience we're having. And it feeds the pituitary the information about what hormones are needed, whether they need to be stopped or started. For example, if the hypothalamus detects that the body temperature is too high, it may send a message down the pituitary to activate the sweat glands to generate more perspiration to cool the body down. So here's a picture just kind of showing a little bit about how that works. And this particular picture is showing that we might have some signals coming in. Instead of a stable, comfortable situation, we're moving to some kind of stress or sickness, or hunger, or exposure to cold. And we've got this interaction with the hypothalamus and the pituitary receiving and giving input back and forth between the adrenal glands. So as I mentioned earlier, the hypothalamus really is our mind-body connection, to the connection in our nervous system and to the pituitary through the limbic systems, which is really our emotional control. So these messages flow down the hypothalamus and into the brain stem. And then this picture is showing that we might be having a parasympathetic or a sympathetic response. So the sympathetic nervous system is our stress response. So it is the nervous system that is engaged when we need to fight or flight or maybe even freeze. So an urgent response is needed. The sympathetic system turns on. If we are in a more relaxed state, we're ready for rest, to digest our food, to go to sleep, then our parasympathetic system is what calms us or generates all of the messages to calm us down and prepare us for sleep, meditation, or digestion. So these systems help manage our emotions, our anger control, hunger and satiety. They manage our immunity and also our memory input. So we're going to move on next to the pineal gland. So the pineal gland, which again sits a little bit further back from the hypothalamus and pituitary, still in the center of the brain, but a little further back. It's a small organ in the brain, about 1/3 of an inch long, and it's shaped like a pine cone. It produces melatonin, which helps maintain our circadian rhythms, that biological clock for sleep and wake cycle. It affects our mood, our sleep, and our immune system. Melatonin helps the body manage stress and aging, and it helps suppress cortisol. Cortisol is the hormone associated with stress, but it also causes us to age more quickly. So melatonin can help to suppress that, manage it to the correct levels. Melatonin helps quiet the mind for our access into the higher consciousness when we're meditating. So balanced levels of melatonin support a deeper meditation. So melatonin is produced when we are in darkness, and it stops when we are in light. So melatonin helps support our sleep, but it's only produced when we are in complete darkness. So the pineal gland is also associated with our third eye, as some people call it, or our intuitive centers. The pineal gland is the gland in the body with the highest level of energy in the body, which probably supports all of the intuitive awareness and our ability to receive and send information through that gland. It is connected to the sixth chakra here in the center of the head, and connected to our intuitive and our psychic is our psychic energy center. So scientific evidence supports the possibility that the third eye, or the pineal gland, was once a primitive first eye. Excuse me. Our primitive first eye may have been much larger, and it may have functioned as a slight organ. In fact, they have found that the tissue around the pineal gland is actually very similar to our retinal tissue. The pineal gland receives signals that travel down the optic nerves. So we have a connection between our pineal gland and our normal eyes for use for vision. So this supports energetically our ability to receive visual intuition in the form of pictures or clairvoyance. And it also supports our ability to create from visualization or imagination when we are in a we are using visual techniques to meditate or to create what we would like to in our lives. So the pineal and the third eye, or the third eye when open, enable us to have clairvoyance, vision, spiritual expansion, other intuitive and psychic gifts like clairaudience and clairsentience, a higher consciousness and sense of spiritual connection, spiritual awareness and clarity for our personal growth. So the pineal gland is highly susceptible to toxins and chemicals. And the picture that you're seeing on the screen is a picture of a pineal gland, two different pineal glands that were photographed that came out of a body, where they had fluoride deposited on about half of the gland as a result of fluoridated products. The pineal is particularly sensitive to fluoride found in tap water and most toothpaste. Fluoride causes the pineal gland to calcify. So that's something we'll talk about a little later when we're talking about lifestyle changes. The power and the vitality of the pineal gland may also be dimmed or diminished by chemicals such as chlorine. Chlorine leaves deposits on the pineal. Food with pesticides, preservatives, especially mercury and other chemicals. Poor diet, excessive stress, exposure to toxins in the environment suppress the pineal activity. Electromagnetic field, or the EMFs from mobile phones and other wireless transmissions, tend to harden the pineal gland. And then a very important message here is lack of natural sunlight in the retina can also dim our ability to access our pineal gland for spiritual awareness. Because natural sunlight, being out in the sun without sunglasses and letting that sunlight, natural sunlight, into our eyes is so healthy for the pineal. So again, we're going to talk about detoxification a little later. So now we're going to move to the support, and the support I'm recommending here today is a body, mind, and spirit support. We're going to talk about things we can do in the body, like food, drink, environmental, and lifestyle choices, and how they manage, help us balance our emotions and our mental clarity, and help us support our spiritual and intuitive awareness. We're going to talk about the mind, ways we can use thought to shift our energy. Thought drives energy in our emotions, our perceptions, and helps create our experience of reality. Spirit, we're going to talk about some energetic tools, easy healing technique for the brain. We're going to do that at the end of the session. We're going to learn how energy can help keep our body, spirit, clear of the energetic debris and support a high vibration in our intuitive center. So I put together a couple of little charts that we can look at. Um, this first one is some dietary support that we can choose for the pineal, the pituitary, and the hypothalamus. We talked about fluoride in the water. We can take steps to reduce fluoride in our water and our toothpaste. There's plenty of filters available to clear fluoride out of our water, and there are natural toothpastes available that do not have that ingredient. So getting plenty of clean, pure water is very good for actually the entire brain, but particularly the fluoride impacts the pineal. We can reduce pesticides, preservatives, chemicals, and mercury in the diet by fresh, raw, organic produce whenever possible. Particularly supports the pineal and the hypothalamus. Limit sugar, processed food, caffeine, tobacco, and carbonated drinks for pineal support. We can ensure plenty of protein sources with good assimilation for the pituitary. And if needed, to make sure that we are processing that protein and assimilating it, we may want to look at some natural digestive enzymes. Choosing good healthy fats such as omega-3 is highly supportive for the hypothalamus. Also, friendly bacteria by choosing probiotic foods or supplements is good for the hypothalamus. Eating a nutrient-dense, low glycemic whole foods diet is good for our entire body, as well as foods that are high in phytochemicals and antioxidants. I'm sure these are things you've not heard before, that you have heard before. So support for the pineal can include raw apple cider in the diet. You can add that to salad dressings or other foods. Pure cacao, dark chocolate, green tea are high in antioxidants, very good for the pineal. And the pineal would be very well supported with a liver flush, kidney or colon flush to kind of help clear the toxins out of the body. This next slide has food supplements that support our brain, the glands in the brain. So the first line is about choosing food-based supplements are good for both pineal and hypothalamus, but particularly for the pineal, it is very good to get calcium from food sources or supplements that are created from natural sources, from food sources, because the calcium is, while we need it for our body, calcium is one of the minerals that can accumulate on the pineal. I've listed here some vitamin supplements that help support these glands. From my research, I found K2 for the pineal, pituitary, A, B, D, and E, B and E for the hypothalamus. Trace minerals and electrolytes are particularly supportive for the hypothalamus as it's managing all of our electrolytes and our thirst and our fluids in the body. And I mentioned earlier that I am a certified aromatherapist, and I've listed some essential oils that I believe are highly beneficial for these glands in the brain. And I've listed cedarwood, sandalwood, myrrh, black pepper, patchouli, frankincense, and ylang ylang. I'll talk about brain power in a moment. That's a blend. So the Berlin and Vienna university studies have showed that essential oils high in sesquiterpene molecule have the ability to surpass the blood-brain barrier and oxygenate the brain tissue. So what that means is that there's typically a barrier in the brain, and the food sources or substances cannot really pass that barrier. But these essential oils do have the ability, if they have the sesquiterpene molecule in them, as the ones I've listed do, um, they have the ability that when we use them on our skin or inhale them, that they can enter through the brain and actually bring more oxygen into these glands in our brain tissue, which helps to improve memory and mental clarity. It helps to clear negative programming from the cells. Um, these particular oils help to calm and harmonize our emotions. And they also help by opening up the sixth chakra for meditation. And what I particularly like about the ones with the sesquiterpene in it is that they support our meditation by opening up the crown chakra and the sixth chakra for our intuitive connections and intuitive clarity, but they also help ground us. So they work with both the sixth, the seventh, and the first chakra to ground us. Wonderful oils for meditation and spiritual enhancement. So, Brain Power is a blend created by Young Living, which is one of my favorite. There's a lot of good brands of natural, organic, essential oils that you can find, and Young Living is one of my favorites. And it has cedarwood, sandalwood, and frankincense in it, I believe. I wrote that down. Ylang ylang oil has about, I think it's 50 something percent of the sesquiterpene molecule in it, but it also has the energy in it to help balance our male and female uh, systems so that we can balance our male and female energies to be able to access more of our feminine energy as well as our masculine energy. So, moving to the next slide. So, on this one, I have listed some lifestyle choices that we can choose to help activate these glands. We talked about spending time in natural sunlight every day without sunglasses. And we could just go out for 15 minutes a day and sit in the sun and let the sun bathe our retinas a little bit to activate the pineal. Um, we're going to be in the sun for a while, use sunglasses and sunscreen, but a little bit of natural sunlight is great for our sleep and great to activate our spiritual abilities. And the next line, getting plenty of sleep, also supports the pineal and all of our glands, actually. And for the pineal, sleep in complete darkness as well as you can, because that complete darkness is when we're able to manufacture more melatonin. And when we get more rest, we're also more mentally alert during the day. So those two functions work together in our body systems. We can reduce those EMFs in our environment. This is those wireless um, devices. And as we all know, in today's world, our wireless devices, they're all around us. But we can turn them off when they're not in use or put them away. We can make sure that they're not active in our bedrooms. And just be aware that we want to reduce them as much as possible. And that leads to the next line item, which is reducing blue light from TVs, computers, and phones, particularly in the hours before bedtime, because that blue light activates our serotonin, which keeps us awake and will help prevent us from going to sleep easily. So moving away from those devices an hour or so before bedtime can help us get a more deeper and restful sleep. Engaging in meditation regularly, as much as possible, and in darkness if possible, is terrific for the pineal. I did read on one resource that it's even good maybe to use a blindfold for meditation, because when we are in that darkness, even just during meditation, It allows us to go into more deeply into that spiritually connected space. Um, Focusing our attention on the center of our head. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in a few minutes, but having our awareness, and we'll talk about how to do that, but having our awareness in the center of our head is really a wonderful way to wake up, turn the light on, if you will, to our spiritual awareness and activate those glands for good health. Breathing practices, yoga practices, chanting are all good for these glands. Tapping, gently tapping on the forehead with where in our third eye area is a good way to wake up energetically the systems in the glandular systems in the brain. And the tongue mudra, and there's a lot of esoteric ways to do a tongue mudra, but you can simply touch and maybe press a little bit, press your tongue a little bit to the roof of your mouth, the space that leads up into the brain and the glands, to kind of similar to the tapping, kind of wakes up that space. Spinning like Sufi dancers. If you're a Sufi dancer, that's very good for the pineal. Laughing and smiling helps to open up the crown chakra and relieve stress. In all of our energy classes, we talk about amusement and how wonderful that is for the body and to help relieve stress, but also release energy that doesn't support us. We can get plenty of exercise. These are not things these are things I'm sure you've heard before. Acupuncture is excellent. And I would recommend get an energy healing. When we energize the space in the head for these glands with an energy healing, whether we do it ourselves or we see a practitioner for support on that, is wonderfully healing for these glands. Oops. Okay, there we go. So, so we can connect with our feminine energy. Non-goal oriented activities help release demand energy from our busy lives. And it helps to reset the brain and the endocrine system to bring more vision, more creativity, and harmony. It opens up our ability to have visions, and the creative energy is opened up when we can be in that space where we're allowing, where we're not always, the cup is empty, if you will. Our time isn't always full. We're leaving that space open for creativity and innovation. And feminine energy actually helps us see past limitations to create more possibility. When we're in our feminine energy and we're allowing the universe to support us, and when we're allowing our space and our cup and our thoughts to be open and empty, we can take that spiritual input and we can see new ways, innovative ways to move through challenges in life. Connecting with our feminine energy helps support the pituitary, those happy hormones like the oxytocin, dopamine, endorphins, and serotonin, and vasopressin for feelings of social connection and bonding. We can connect with our feminine energy through meditation. We can go inside to connect with spirit. We can listen more. Listening puts us into that receptive mode. It allows us to receive. We're receiving what someone else has to say and letting them impact us. And we can receive their messages. Connecting to the arts is a wonderful way to connect with feminine energy. We can create music, we can create art, dance, or sing, cooking, gardening, painting, sculpting, writing, whatever it is we enjoy doing. Connecting with our with the arts and with our expressive side helps us tune into that open space, that space where we're receptive. We can get out into nature on a regular basis. Big cities are full of resistant energy, and that energy is constantly bombarding us. And so when we're out in nature, nature is non-resistant, which means that the energy in the woods or on a beach or even in a grassy field, that energy is fluid and in flow. And so nature is the divine purifier, and it can also support us in opening up our psychic awareness. Feeling our feelings is an excellent way to open up our feminine energy so we can feel our feelings and don't be afraid of them. Feelings are energy that help us understand what's going on. They are energy in motion. So our emotions help us understand who we are, and they bring meaning and purpose into our lives. Emotions also play a huge part in our intuitive guidance system. And then again, kind of just a reminder, lean into that receiving, practice waiting, practice patience, and learn to surrender to our higher self and to receive. So moving on, thought helps create energy in our emotions. Our thoughts create our perception, our emotions, and they help us make our choices. So when we think about our thoughts and just become more aware of our thoughts, what is our picture of the experience? Do we get caught up in mind chatter that makes us feel limited or afraid? Or do we choose more empowering thoughts like, okay, I did okay last time I got laid off. I'll figure something out this time. So can we give ourselves, remember to think about and create empowering thoughts as we move through challenging situations? Those thoughts can help shift our perception. Our emotions are our natural response to life's events, but we can trigger our emotions or we can calm them with our thoughts. So when something happens, are we telling ourselves it is a crisis, or are we telling ourselves it's going to be okay, like a compassionate friend would do for us? So thought creates energy through our hormones, and they impact our choices. Our perceptions, our emotions are generating certain feelings and hormones that drive us through a choice. And so that's generating chemistry. And so the question to ask is, are we making a fearful choice? Are we making an empowered choice? Are we making a grounded choice? A safe choice? A spiritually supported choice? And I would recommend here, focus on what we want to create rather than what we want to eliminate. Because when we focus on what we want to create, we bring that healing energy and we focus our attention and our intention on where we're going. Focus on where we're going. So next I want to take us through a little bit of a healing, a self-healing for the endocrine glands in the brain. And I brought back this picture so you can look at it before we go into the meditation. And we're actually going to talk about it a little bit, and then we'll do it. So just a reminder that our hypothalamus is in the front part of the brain along with our pituitary gland. And the pineal is there in the center of the brain, but sits a little bit backward behind it. And so what we're going to do is we're going to do a little clearing meditation on these glands. And I'm going to lead us through a little grounding and centering um, uh, meditation, just a way to get grounded and centered the way I like to do it, which will include getting our attention in the center of our head. And then I'm going to invite you to visualize these three glands in your brain. And if you can remember what this picture looks like, the two glands in the front and the one in back. Um, so you can bring a visual uh, picture of this brain into your meditation. That's great. And if you want to just imagine three little egg-shaped glowing glands in your brain for the meditation, that works too. Because we really do healing using our attention and our intention. So it really doesn't matter if we're doing it right or how we do it. What matters is that we're intending to clear and energize these glands. So again, we heal by seeing the situation whole and complete in its most perfect form. And so when we do that visualization, we're going to vibrate these glands to shake off any old energy that's not yours and it's not supporting you right now. And we're going to bring them into harmony with each other. So I invite you to sit back and relax. And I think I'm going to, I'll leave this on the screen, I guess, during the meditation. Um, so sit back in your chair, take a nice deep breath. You might even close your eyes to take away the visual input. Feel that chair or that couch behind you and underneath you as your body is supported by the chair or the couch that you're sitting in. Take a nice deep cleansing breath and allow your body to settle. You might like to have your feet flat on the ground. Close your eyes. Take a nice deep breath. I'd like to invite you to create a grounding cord. And I like to ground from the base of the spine, which is that area just down by the hips. And one way I like to ground is to visualize a nice colored shaft of light emanating from the base of the spine. It might be nice and wide as your hips. Let that colored shaft of light start to grow down through the couch or the chair that you're sitting on, down through the floorboards, down into the bedrock, and clear down into the center of the earth. You might have that colored shaft of light be red, green, blue, pink, any color except black or white. When we ground in this manner, it lines up the grounding with our chakras so that we can start releasing energy and to be grounded and in our clarity and our intuitive awareness. And also, this type of a grounding cord acts as a trash chute to release any energy that doesn't support us anymore, to fall away down the grounding cord. The grounding cord just acts like a gravity. It just pulls that energy out of your body and down into the center of the earth. And next, I'd like to invite you to have your awareness in the center of your head. And this is just that space that's a little bit behind your eyes, a little bit above your ears. Just have your awareness there, be hanging out in the center of your head. This is your sixth chakra, your intuitive space, your clairvoyant space. It's a space where we can receive visual input intuitively, and it's a space where we can create from visual pictures to create the kind of life that we would like to have. So you can just have your awareness there in that space in the center of your head. And I'm going to invite you to do a third piece for this grounding and centering. We all have an energetic bubble around us, our aura bubble. And I'm going to invite you, if you would like, to imagine that space. It's about an arm's length out from the body, all the way around us, back and front, above and down below. I'm going to invite you to set that bubble a color. You can imagine any color: red, blue, green, pink, orange, purple, any color you like, just not black or white. Just imagine that nice, soft, supple bubble is a color protecting your space, protecting your energy, helping you to disengage from vibrations out in the world that are not helpful for you. It also helps you create from the space the energy that's yours inside this bubble, to create your own experience of life and to create with this healing that we're going to do in a moment. You can just imagine that nice, soft, supple bubble, protective all the way around you with that nice color that you painted it. So for the meditation, we're going to activate and recharge the three glands in the brain. The pineal, it's a little bit behind, the hypothalamus and the pituitary that are a little bit in front. And you might even see them as the picture that we saw. You might see them as just little round egg-shaped glands. So visualize these three glands, if you would, and start to vibrate with a bright golden light. Right now, golden light, golden energy is one of the highest vibrations that we can attain and we can use comfortably in any meditation for protection and for enlightenment and for enhancement. Gold is the color of forgiveness, and to me, it's a spiritual color. So you can imagine that these three glands are vibrating at the highest frequency of gold that supports your body and your mind right now. Just imagine they start to shake and vibrate a little bit. Let them spin off any energy that's not yours. And when we do this kind of a healing, I like to visualize the pituitary connecting with the hypothalamus and those two glands vibrating together to bring more support for driving the master glands in the body, for driving all of your energy. And I like to see the hypothalamus then connecting with the pineal, vibrating those two glands together. And the pineal then vibrating back and connecting with the pituitary, so that all of these three glands are vibrating together at that high vibration of gold, the highest vibration that supports your body, to start supporting your physical, your emotional, and your mental, and your spiritual health. The vibration of the pineal will clear and open up your connection to spirit and your intuitive awareness. What would you like to create? What energy would you like to create for your pineal? Better sleep, intuitive awareness, intuitive clarity, connection with spirit, easy meditation. Just imagine what you want to energy what you want to bring into the pineal gland, and let that energy absorb in and reset your pineal. The vibration in your hypothalamus will discharge old memories that no longer serve you. What energy would you like to create in your hypothalamus? Weight balance, blood pressure, releasing painful memories, or creating emotional calm. Just let that hypothalamus vibrate at whatever energy and reset it for your body and what you want to create right now. The vibration in the pituitary gland will restore its place as the master gland and lead the body with clarity and purpose. Reset your biorhythms and your entire endocrine system. What would you like to create in your pituitary? Open up your feminine energy, bringing more self-compassion, activate those happy hormones, or increase your connection and bonding with other people? What would you like to create in your pituitary? Just let yourself imagine it right now. We have a nice picture for each of these glands of how you want to heal them, what you want to create in them, where you want to take them with your intention and your attention. Just let these three glands begin to vibrate with that high vibration of gold to create more peace, more harmony, and more love in your life. Love for your peace, love for yourself, love for your family, your friends, or your community. Peace for all that is. Gratitude for everything and everyone in your life. Just let them vibrate, spin, connect with each other. And then when that feels complete, you can begin to let the vibrations in the gland begin to dissipate, to start to release any energy that's not needed, and to quiet and allow those three glands to go back to their normal, quiet, peaceful space. And when that feels complete, you can go ahead and start to move around a little bit. Come back to the room. Open your eyes. Stretch a little if you would like. How does that feel? Great. Wonderful job. So we are coming to the end of our time together, and I just want to wrap up with a little bit of a summary. We talked about our glands, the pituitary and the hypothalamus and the pineal, and how we can make lifestyle choices to help energize and bring vitality into those glands that will help bring vitality and energy for the life we want to live. Talked about clean water to detox the pineal from fluoride and other minerals, and to bring spiritual connection and psychic abilities, open up our psychic abilities. We talked about natural sunlight and how important that is to activate the pineal for our intuitive awareness, but also for our sleep patterns. We talked about feminine energy. Oh, I skipped it. We talked about sleeping in complete darkness, which kind of goes with the sunlight. Both of those are very important for activating the pineal. And then moving to the feminine energy and how that opens up our creativity, harmony, innovation, kindness, and compassion, and how that helps to generate those happy hormones for emotional bonding, to support our memory, and how when we're in our feminine energy, we can be with the divine mystery, which is really the connection into our creative selves. We talked about thoughts and how thoughts are energy, and we can and how that connection between the hypothalamus and the endocrine glands really provide that feedback into the brain and actually creates chemically and physically that mind-body connection. We talked about attention and intention and how we can focus on where we want to go and use our creative energy and our intuition to drive and have our attention on where we're going to create healing in our lives. We talked about meditation and how important that is to find solace inside, to manage our energetic space, but also to connect with spirit and to find our own answers. We talked about energy healing and how energy healing, like the one we just did, or even your own other techniques you might have, or working with an energy healer, can help release energy from the brain, foreign energy that's not yours, to help reset these glands for their highest vibration. Talked about yoga and breath work. There's lots of ways, alternative ways that we can use these type of techniques to open up our energy and heal the glands in the brain. I spent some time on essential oils and how the essential oils bring oxygen to our entire body, and the specific ones that bring energy and oxygen into the brain to open up our mental clarity and our spiritual awareness, and to calm and harmonize our emotions. We talked about clean environment and how important that is to support our pineal, and also to avoid those EMFs as much as possible. And a clean diet and exercise to oxygenate the tissues. All good things that we could choose to manage our endocrine system better. So for the next steps, anyone can bring vitality to their endocrine system and body chemistry with healthy lifestyle choices. And we talked about a number of them. I invite you to choose changes that look appealing to you and to create new healthy habits. There's plenty of information on the web or references that I've cited below about how to get started. It's good to be patient. It takes about 28 days for a new pattern to feel easy and natural. And again, if you have any existing health concerns, please do talk to your doctor before making dietary changes or starting new activities. And very important, we can bring awareness into our daily activities. And remember that thoughts are energy. Follow your joy to generate those happy hormones. Energize your intuitive space with clean water, good sleep, and simple meditations. So on this next panel, I've listed all of the information on how you can get in touch with me. I would love to work with you for healing on more extensive healing on your brain or any aspect of your body to help you attain your goals or move forward in life in the most enjoyable way. And I do have a special that I'm offering. If you mention this presentation, I will give you 30% off your reading and healing and 20% off of any class that I'm offering. And then as a last slide, I just want to show all of the resources that are here in the slide deck. And you're welcome to search them out and find more information that you would like. And then I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing, come back to the room.
I'm going to unmute. Hold on. Let's see if I can get this right. Here we go. Now we're both here. So that was amazing. That was amazing. I'm going to ask you like live right here if you're going to come back a few more times, because I feel like I took so many notes, and here's what I'm thinking is I feel like we need to like break down and dig into everything you went over, because there's so much to talk about. And you were talking about EMFs. We could talk about EMFs for an hour. I mean, truly. And with 5G that's come out, I mean, there's a lot of things we want to do to protect our health. And it was interesting because when you were talking about, you know, just the chemicals that impact these glands, and as much as I've changed my lifestyle over the years, I'm reading that going, oh, I need to detox. I mean, there's so much information in your presentation. It was just amazing.
Yeah, I would love to come back and we could do a deep dive. I mean, even just on feminine energy, on, you know, any of the topics. I would love to do that. So we'll talk about that later.
Yes, we will. I mean, this is just great. And there were folks watching. Thank you guys for the comments. They were all just very positive. Sue, we had folks saying how much they loved it and how much information was in the presentation. So it's really great. And for everybody who's watching now, you can listen to this. This will be up in the next few days on the Buddhist Biohacker podcast on iTunes and Spotify. So that will happen. You can also continue to watch the replay here on the video, and definitely connect with Sue. She has so much great information and energy to share. And yeah, just thank you so much. And for everybody who's listening and watching right now, like, we have this new forum on MeWe, and let's use it. Let's talk more about all of this and talk about this podcast and more. And we're coming up here in a few hours at 3:00 Mountain Time with Julie Hoyle and Taria Ward to talk about now. That's really the topic is, there is no better time than now.
Love
And yes.
Julie's amazing.
Oh my gosh. Both of them are just, I'm honored to even be in the same room with them. So it's awesome. But thank you so much, Sue. This has been really, really incredible.
Happy to be here.
Oh, thank you so much. And yes, we'll get it scheduled, and let's do some deep dives into all of these. And I feel like it just took me in 15 different places I want to study just from this presentation. So thank you again. Thank you to everybody who's joining. And let's just stay healthy and stay safe.
Yeah, thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.